The Indiana Pacers are up right now in the series 2-1 against the OKC Thunder. A friend of mine texted me today and asked me if I think Kevin Durant is happy right now that the Pacers are up in the series and if he's possibly rooting for the Pacers. I thought about that question and it made me think about Kevin Durant's legacy deeply. And I responded back by telling my friend that I definitely believe that Kevin Durant is rooting for the Pacers to defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder because if the Thunder win this series, it definitely has a huge impact on Kevin Durant's legacy, his ego, and as we've seen that he's very thin-skinned. I don't think he would be able to live it down if OKC won the series, but we go back to his legacy. If OKC wins the championship this year, I definitely believe it will impact his legacy because Durant had plenty of chances to win a championship in OKC, but he couldn't deliver. He failed a bunch of times, I felt. So there's three failures that stick out to me in my eyes in which I felt he could have won it all, but he just couldn't come through for them. The first time I would say was the 2012 NBA Finals when he led the Thunder there. Granted, you could say they were really young, but they had the talent to beat Miami. I definitely believe they did. They had home court advantage. And I would say the way they lost the series was pretty embarrassing. They win game one, and then it's a gentleman's sweep by Miami. They're just not able to come back after losing game two. Just to lose four straight after that was pathetic. But that was the start of him having a choking legacy in which he chokes opportunities to win in the playoffs. The next time I felt he choked and he just couldn't come through was 2014 against my Spurs. That even though the Spurs had a home court advantage, the Thunder were a terrible matchup for the Spurs. They struggled with them all year. I think during the regular season, they were 1-3 against them, or maybe even 0-4. They had a terrible record against the Thunder. So you think the Thunder are going to win this series. Then it starts off interesting. Spurs win the first two games. Then suddenly Serge Ibaka comes back in this series. And you think the Thunder have all the momentum now because the Spurs are horrible at guarding Serge. For some reason, Serge plays like Sean Kemp whenever he sees the Spurs. It drove me nuts. And this was no different. They win the next two games. They have all the momentum. And then the Spurs blow them out in game five by starting Matt Bonner. And then in game six, they win a hotly contested game. I think it might have went to overtime in which the Spurs barely won the game. It took a lot of clutch plays from Tim Duncan, Boris Diaw, Manu Ginobili to win the game. And on top of that, I still remember that Tony Parker didn't play the rest of the second half in that game. He had some minor injury that kept him out of that game. But still, somehow, Kevin Durant managed to choke away that game, and he wasn't able to lead his team to victory. They ended up getting eliminated. This was the year where Kevin Durant won the MVP. The next time in my eyes where he choked was 2016. His Thunder go up 3-1 against the Warriors, and they should have won that series. They really should have won that series. They choked it away. I think that series is not really talked much about when it comes to Durant's legacy. For some reason, people don't really like to talk about it. I don't know why, but that's like the best series to bring out how much of a choke artist he was. His team goes up 3-1 against the Warriors, and for some reason, he chokes the rest of the series, especially game six. I'll never forget that game because that was a must win for the Thunder where I felt they had to win the game. If they didn't win the game, then Golden State would come back to win the series. And Durant didn't show up, especially in the fourth quarter of that game. He disappeared. He was choking and he just didn't come through. So if you look at his legacy, with the Thunder, it was just one of choking away and never coming through when his team had a chance to win it all. He had three opportunities. He blew them in 2012, 2014, 2016. There are many players that don't even get one opportunity in their career to win it all, that they just don't have the talent. But he had three opportunities. You would think he would have gotten at least one of them, but no, he failed. he choked. And I just think if SGA and the Thunder come back and win the series, which I do believe they are, I think they're going to win the series still, even though they're down 2-1. I think it's going to have a bad look on KD's legacy, because I think people are going to look back at his failures in OKC, which isn't pointed out that much for some odd reason, but I think they'll bring it up again, because then you got to talk about SGA then becoming the GOAT Thunder of all time, that he's going to be the best Thunder player, and then you're going to bring up Durant's legacy, and they're going to micro analyze it and just go into all the details about his time with the Thunder and his failures. So I definitely believe that if the Thunder win this series, it definitely is going to tarnish Durant's legacy. It's going to bring out old ghosts of his past in OKC and his failures. And I just think that's something he does not want to have open to discussion again. And it's going to illustrate again his stupidity of leaving OKC when they went up 3-1 against the Warriors, and him just defecting like a coward and just going to Golden State when he had the team to win it all. with that current Thunder team, if you decide to sign from him 1 more year, I think it's going to bring all that back. And yes, it will taint his legacy. Granted, it's already tainted as it is with what he did with going to Golden State, but I definitely think it taints it even more if somehow the Thunder come back and win the series. I definitely think it's going to be another blemish against Kevin Durant, and why I believe Kevin Durant is rooting hard for the Pacers to win this series. So that's pretty much all I have to say.